Hey, AP, Bobby Portis said earlier in the week that this team continues to grow up. He used the Tennessee loss as an example, saying after that game, they bounced back and won 3 in a row, and that's why he believes they're going to bounce back about the disappointment after Florida.
He's writing his second chapter here at Arkansas. His position coach, Vernon Hargraves, says, look, some guys just have a knack, and he is one of those guys.
These are two teams who came into the year with high expectations. They were almost the dark horses in the East and the West divisions, but right now they're fighting for their first conference win.
I need them to kind of start proving to me they can do things in the red zone before I start giving them more points, because I did the past 2 weekends and it hasn't worked out for me. With Keon Hatcher and Cody Hollister up, who is going to be that next guy? And the first person that comes to mind is Jared Cornelius, but fans might say, wait a minute, how can we rely on him? He can't even get to meetings on time. He was suspended for a half last game, and he said, yeah, that did happen, but it was the longest 30 minutes of my life, and I'm never going to do it again.
Well, you guys have almost 200,000 views on YouTube. That's pretty impressive in just 1 week, Eric.
He's become a vocal leader, and it's something, AP, that doesn't come naturally. We were talking with his high school coach, Daryl Patton, over at Fayetteville, and he said we would have to put Brooks in situations that made him talk, because he just doesn't talk. He's more of a lead by example than be a vocal leader, but because he's kind of had that push to be more talkative on the field, it's really contributed to the way that he's played at Arkansas.
A fun story about Joe Serrano. He played second base most of his entire life, and when he got to Arkansas, Dave Van Horn told us that he wanted to play second, but he had good enough infielders already, so he needed him in the lineup, put him out in left. And then every year they would come back, Joe would go to second, Dave Van Horn would let him stay there for a while, and then they'd send him back out into left field. And even to this day, Coach was telling us, he still says, look, I'm still really a second baseman, and Dave Van Horn will say, yes, but we're going to have you play left today. You're right, AP, we do love game night. You can call this a payback game if you want to. The players won't argue with you. They've been looking forward to this game since they lost in Knoxville 2 weeks ago when Tennessee basically beat Arkansas at their own game, forced 18 turnovers. In his weekly press conference this week, Mike Anderson highlighting the keys to victory for his team tonight. AP, when you look at the numbers, Arkansas and Missouri State pretty similar. Arkansas batting .291, Missouri State batting .292, and just 5 hits separate the two team totals. So it seems like what this series is going to come down to is pitching.
Now, if you know a little bit about Mitch Mustain and his story, if you know nothing, or if you think you know everything about this story, you're still going to want to come out and check this out. And joining me now is the man in the center of it all, Mitch Mustain. And Mitch, it's a big night for you back here in Northwest Arkansas. Where are your emotions right now as this film gets ready to debut?
Arkansas baseball continuing on. Now the Razorbacks getting ready to take on the Florida Gators for the second time in the SEC tournament, but they're going to have to get over the 6 errors they made last night against LSU. The most errors made in a game all season, leading to 7 unearned runs for the Tigers. You can't make errors and win ball games. Our coverage is going to continue with Drew Ammon as he's out in Hoover, Alabama. Stacey Lewis finishing round 1 and 2 of the Northwest Arkansas Championship today at -9. That's putting her in contention to defend her title tomorrow. An emotional overtime win last night against Alabama for Arkansas, but there's no time to celebrate or dwell on that game. It is already time to move on to the next one on the road against Missouri. And Columbia, Missouri is where we find our Razorback Nation crew and Mike Irwin. Hey, Mike.
Every player at Arkansas, AP, has a story. They're a part of one team, but they come from different walks of life, some easier than others. If you met freshman linebacker Dre Greenlaw casually on the street, you'd never know the struggles he's been through and how the game of football has played a vital role to help him get to where he is today.
Football was his outlet. He had a chance to let his hair down and play on Friday night.
Freshman linebacker Dre Greenlaw shined between the lines of Bulldog Stadium at Fayetteville High School.
Just give me something to look forward to every day.
But away from the field, before football ever stepped in, life was often dark.
It's hard, just going from foster home to foster home and just coming from shelter to shelter.
Dre definitely didn't have the easiest upbringing when he was growing up.
From where I come from, there's kids that, in different foster homes that, don't have a family, don't have food on the table and stuff like that, or are being mistreated.
One of the hundreds of Arkansas kids in foster care, Dre's home life changed constantly.
It gives you a different perspective in life, and it just kind of puts you in a different mindset that others don't have. Just growing up with not having very much order, to get out the foster system. And be honest, when I was in my group home, was the only guy to make it out, and it all started when I was in 9th grade.
That's when football opened doors and gave Dre a place where he could be himself.
I felt like family, and that was really the only family that I had. You know, I had the group home, but, you know, it was kids coming out in and every day.
Dre, that's all he wanted. He just wanted to be a part of something.
Little did he know, football was about to give him something he had never imagined. An assistant coach at Fayetteville High School at the time, Brian Early took notice to Dre's struggles away from practice and decided to spend time with him off the football field.
I was just kind of mentoring him. We would go get him on Sundays, take him to church, spend some time with my wife, the kids, and things like that. We got attached to him.
Brian gave him that structure and discipline, and Nancy, and they kept a close thumb on him and eye on him, and on his grades, attendance. He didn't miss practice for the last 2 years.
However, Dre was still in the foster system. That was until the Earlys decided to make his addition to the family more permanent.
We found out that he may be moving again because of his home situation. That we thought it was a no-brainer to just take him in and make him a full-time member of the family.
He now has a place to call home and a family to come home to.
When you got somebody as good as the Earlys that can take you in, and it just means a lot.
Dre's been with us for 4 years now, and we can't remember, you know, him not being part of the family. But it's been as good for us as it has been for him.
And as he looks at the next chapter of his life as a Razorback, he relies on his past to help guide him towards his future.
Football has helped me to become, you know, it kind of directed my path, and it just kind of showed me that there's a better way. I've always just told myself that, you know, I never want to be a failure. Like, I never want to go back to where I came from, because, you know, that's one of the kids that's in foster care, one of their scariest moments and thoughts of just, you know, having to go back.
You know, Dre says he wants to be a coach and is majoring in kinesiology at Arkansas, but he also told me he's thought about being a therapist and working with the kids who are currently in the foster system where he once was as a way to give back, AP.
Both arms are going to go out.
Head athletic trainer Matt Summers starts his day bright and early.
I tell you what, as an athletic trainer, we're all very, very busy, work a lot of hours. It's just a daily grind with these guys.
Overseeing roughly 125 players, making sure each one is properly taken care of.
We try to build them up through the off season and take care of them, piece them together through the, you know, during the season.
And Summers having to do more than his fair share of piecing back together this season.
This is a unique year in the sense that we've had a lot of injuries to players that are very recognizable.
When guys like Keon Hatcher and Raleigh Williams get hurt on the field, Summers and his staff immediately get to work.
We're trying to get them calmed down and then asking questions to kind of see what's going on. What are they injured? You know, what have they injured?
Already this season, he's seen a neck injury, a broken arm, and numerous others.
We've had a lot of fractures this year. I tell you, it's amazing.
And once an injury happens, then starts the process of getting the guys back on the field.
He's one of those guys that he does everything in his power, in his will, to make you feel better. And it's a great feeling to know we have a guy on our staff like that.
You done?
Each injury is unique, and each player is different in their recovery. Jared Cornelius able to bounce back in only 6 weeks.
We're able to get those back a little bit sooner because, you know, it's not a weight-bearing bone.
A completely different situation than Jonathan Williams' season-ending foot injury.
Yeah, my new scooter.
You have to keep them off of their leg for an extended period of time, and then you have to retrain the body on how to walk, how to jog, how to run.
Their expertise combined with the latest technology.
We like to be cutting edge.
Makes it easy for trainers to get these guys healthy.
You know, from the anti-gravity treadmill to the underwater treadmill.
He pushes you. I mean, he pushes you to your limit. He doesn't want you to get hurt again, but he wants you to get back as fast as possible.
So when it is time for the player to return to action, they have Summers and his staff to thank.
We work hard every single day to make sure that they're taken care of, and that's our #1 priority is their health care.
To have him here 4 years, I haven't had too many seniors in this program that have stayed. I wish I could keep some more.
It's what makes baseball different from the other collegiate sports and why Joe Serrano's story is so unique.
It's a dream come true going to Omaha and to be able to go twice, especially with 2 great group of guys, and I just couldn't be more excited.
Serrano bookending his career at the College World Series, first in 2012 and now in 2015.
I wasn't really really playing that much my freshman year, and then had a role late in the year as a DH, kind of spot outfielder. And my bat got hot at the end of the year and stayed in there. And I was a part of a great regional, great super regional, and Omaha appearance.
Now a senior, his role on the team has evolved from a kid put in the lineup because he could hit to a leader who has helped turn this season around.
This year I've been an everyday kind of guy, and I'm just trying to do whatever I can to help the team win, and if my veteran leadership has anything to do with it, then I'll just be happy for the guys, and just seeing guys mature and grow up, and I wouldn't want to do it with any other group of guys.
No matter his role, number 10's been a big part of this team his 4 years as a Hog. But he says he couldn't have done it without the support of his parents, who've become familiar faces behind the first base dugout.
They've always been there, rooting me on, cheering for me, cheering for the Hogs, and it's always nice seeing them so often, because I don't really get to go to Tucson very often. So having them here frequently, it's nice to see that, but I'm just glad that they had the opportunity to make it out so many games.
This is your Razorback Nation report, powered by Cellucor.
After 3 seasons at Arkansas, offensive line coach Sam Pittman leaving to join Jim Chaney and Kirby Smart at Georgia. More on that big news coming out today in just a bit. But first, we're going to start inside Bud Walton Arena. The men's basketball team looking to win back-to-back games for the first time this season and give head coach Mike Anderson a nice present on his birthday. That would be a win, of course. But Tennessee Tech getting on the board first, opening things up with this 3. But then later, Jimmy Witt with this gives Arkansas their first lead of the game, 8-5 early on. Anthlon Bell, a little bit later from downtown, his second of the night. He had 3 total. Arkansas with an 8-point lead. And, of course, we have to say welcome back to Trey Thompson. The alley-oop from Jabril Durham. So nice. Let's see it again. A few possessions later, Durham to Thompson. T-squared had 8 straight points, and the Hogs lead at 33-17. Dusty Hannah coming off the bench hot, 21 points on the night. That 3 included. And how about Moses Kingsley? This block, not in my house, he says. I don't think so. 8 blocks, a career high for Kingsley tonight. Arkansas wins it 83-57. Anthlon Bell and Dusty Hannah leading tonight with 21 points apiece. Moses Kingsley, his 5th double-double of the year. Here's Mike Anderson after the game.
We talked before the game about trending teams from scoring points, and we've been giving up like 78, I think, over the year, and high field goal percentage. And Tennessee Tech came here averaging almost 80-some-odd points, so, and we have them 57. So that's a tribute to our defense.
Back to the surprising news that broke earlier today. Sam Pittman, now a Georgia Bulldog. He spent 3 seasons with Arkansas, coming here as a part of Bielema's original staff from Tennessee. One of the best offensive line coaches in the country, Pittman is rejoining former Hog offensive coordinator Jim Chaney at Georgia under new head coach Kirby Smart. Pittman, one of the assistants who did not have an SEC non-compete clause in his contract.
Sam's great. I've enjoyed my time with him, but, you know, I helped his career quite a bit. I mean, he really wasn't a renowned offensive line guru until we got things rolling here.
Game plan-wise, it shouldn't have an effect on us. We do what we do. We're going to, obviously, Sam had a lot of input on what we did, but it's a group deal, you know. All of us are in there. Even our GAs are in there with us, and I always have said that it's a collective deal.
Wish Coach Pittman the best of luck. At the same point in time, it's an opportunity for this program to move forward. I have great faith in Coach B and the decisions he'll make there, and you know, you got the 1-0 mentality. The next thing up is Kansas State, and we'll prepare accordingly.
I'm sure going to miss Coach Pittman around here. Grad assistants Eric Mateos and Bray Cook will help coach the offensive line during the bowl game in a few weeks. Jimmy Dykes is hoping his ladies can grab their 2nd win of the week tomorrow afternoon on the road. Butler, a 4-5 team right now with wins over Clemson and TCU.
Butler's really good. I mean, you know, it's a program that they run probably as many plays as anybody we're going to face all year. They're good at running their plays. You can't cover them all in practice. We have to just trust our defensive philosophy going up there. But we're excited about playing in Hinkle Fieldhouse, one of the legendary places in all of college basketball to play.
The Razorbacks and Bulldogs face off tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. You can watch all that action on Cox Sports. That is going to do it for your Razorback Nation report. More news and weather after the break. Alex Collins with his third straight game of over 100 yards this past Saturday against Tennessee. He continues to run harder. Head coach Brett Bielema told us today Alex is playing at the highest level he ever has. But what's been the biggest difference with the Hogs' run game is the addition and improvement of Raleigh Williams III. He goes from having 32 yards, 46 yards, and then 100 yards a game against the Volunteers. Now a true 1-2 punch again in the backfield with Williams and AC. It's opening doors for the Arkansas offense.
Running the football makes the receivers, the tight ends, the quarterback's job, everybody's jobs become easier. Throwing the football when you can make them have to defend and stop the run.
It all starts up front. I think our O-line's coming off the ball a lot better. We got maybe a little bit too much east and west. We're definitely coming off the football and comboing up to the second level, moving people at the line of scrimmage a little bit better.
Arkansas and Alabama kick off Saturday night at 6 p.m. Today, the first official day of practice for the men's basketball team. Also, the first time the media able to talk to Coach Anderson and the players about the off-the-court issues from the summer. Of course, I'm talking about the arrests of Anton Beard, Ja'Cory Williams, and Dustin Thomas. Beard and Thomas currently suspended. Williams transferred to Middle Tennessee. Here is what the players and coach had to say about it moving forward.
We don't have any control over it, so Coach preaches just focus on what you can control, and what we control is this next practice and getting better with the pieces that we have, and that's what we're going to work on until we know anything else about the others.
Can't say much about it because there's a legal process that's taking place, but those guys are in school, and so they're doing the things they're supposed to do in the classroom right now.